Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me all right? Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. My name is Carson McCauley. I'm the manager of programs and interpretations here at the museum. I'm so happy to see all of you here tonight with us for this very special program. Before I introduce our moderator for tonight's program, I want to give a huge shout out to our operations team for putting together this wonderful troll cave for our very special guest, Edgar. Yes, yes. We put on so many fun programs here at the museum, so if you don't normally come by, this is a perfect opportunity to join our newsletter or check out our website to find out about some other programs we have coming up. So for example, this Sunday, we'll be hosting our very first Midsummer Kub tournament. Kub is a Swedish lawn game and requires no previous knowledge of how to play. So join us this Sunday at Magnolia Playfield Park to celebrate Midsummer. We're also offering pay-what-you-want yoga classes throughout the summer with Flood Yoga, who named their studio actually after our 2023 Flood exhibition with Jonsi. So we're really excited about that. And then lastly, I also wanted to note that we're having another Moomin movie night next Thursday, and we have a special guest from Moomin Troll himself. So please come by, take a photo with him. It'll be a lot of fun. Now, I'm pleased to hand it over to our moderator for tonight's program. Fidelma McGinn is the president of Scan Design Foundation, whose mission is focused on advancing Danish-America relations. One example of their mission is commissioning Danish-born recycle artist Thomas Dambo to create the Northwest Trolls Way of the Bird King exhibition in 2023. Fidelma also serves as an honorary member of the board here at the National Nordic Museum. Everyone, please join me in welcoming Fidelma McGinn.
Well, hello, everyone. That's great to see so many shining faces on this lovely summer sunny evening. And you bet the traffic around town, because we have a lot of guests here this season. Let me ask, other than those of you who came through the front door, you obviously saw Frankie Feetsplinter outside. Hands up if you've seen more than one troll from the north. Oh my goodness, I have to stand up for this. So you've seen more than, okay, keep them up if you've seen 3 of the series of the Northwest Trolls, Way of the Bird King. Oh my God, okay, 4. If you've seen 5, still hands, still hands. If you've seen all 6, do both hands. Okay, Leith, they all get free membership. Is that right? Is that what you said? No, no. Leith Carlson is here with us this evening as well, folks, the CEO and Executive Director of the museum. Thank you for having us here at your home here at the Nordic Hub of all things Nordic, and it's really going to be a fun evening. I'm very excited. I get to have a chat with my friend Lotta, and you get to listen in. So let's have a look. I think some of you already are well familiar with Lotta Gavel Adams, but for those of you, if you're meeting her for the first time, she is an institution in and of herself. She is the Emeritus Professor of Scandinavian Studies at the University of Washington, where she taught for decades. We won't enumerate them all, Lotta. She has served here on the board of the National Nordic Museum for multiple terms. We won't name how many years, but she's been a wonderful, steadfast volunteer, supporter, community member at the museum. And she is the resident troll historian and folklorist who knows a lot about trolls. I also hear she is the chief cheerleader for her granddaughter's volleyball team. Go Lions! She goes to all their games wherever they can play. So we're delighted to have her and her family here this evening. With that, though, we want to talk about, as I lose all my notes, the knowledge that you have around trolls and folklore and Norse mythology. But before we get into that, maybe you could just help us understand your own upbringing in Sweden. You lived in a lovely community, and maybe you could kind of go back in time and share with our audience a little bit about how you were first introduced to the notion of trolls.
I grew up with trolls. As a matter of fact, when I was newborn, my mother sang a troll lullaby for me. And that is a lullaby that I have continued to sing for my daughters and my granddaughters, and it works fine. 3 times and they're out. It's about a troll mother who is putting her 11 children to bed and tying them up by the tails. And then she sings the most beautiful words she knows.
Shall we ask her to sing, folks? Would you do that would you?
När trollmor har lagt de 11 små trollen och bundit fast dem i svansen, så sjunger hon sakta för 11 små trollen de vackraste ord hon känner. Oh, aj, 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 buff. Oh, aj, 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 buff. Oh, aj, 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 buff, buff. Oh, aj, 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 buff. Wow, it works.
It does work. Okay, if anyone else is dozing off there in the back, can you come back to us?
Okay. But
let's see, there's some images I think we have of your lovely area where you grew up,
Yeah.
and let's see if I can get the clicker to do its job.
actually, trolls are a Nordic nature creature. They live in the forests and in the mountains. And when I grew up outside my summer home, they were all in the forest. And you could see here that some of the nature...
Almost. We're almost there. There we go.
See?
Yeah.
This is where trolls live. It's not difficult to believe in trolls when you walk around in nature like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's kind of reminiscent here of the Northwest with the big rocks and the mossy trees. Interesting common connection there.
But I was really never afraid of trolls.
Oh, you weren't? I was going to ask if they gave you nightmares or were you frightened about them?
No, they didn't.
No.
Because I read in the books that they were easy to cheat, so I know that. And I'm also the same generation as Pippi Longstocking, and so I knew that always in trouble, I would always come up on top, because Pippi is the strongest girl in the world, and I know that.
Pippi Longstocking. Does everybody know who Pippi was? Yeah? Oh, lots of nods. Great.
Yes.
Yeah. Just have to ensure the cultural references are translating. So there's one country, though, in the Nordic region where they really believed that trolls existed, right? That they weren't just, a figment of some storytellers. And that's in Norway. I think we might have some images of here where, they have names like Trollveggen and Trollsteigen and Trollsjorden. Excuse me for the Norwegians in the room if I've mispronounced them. Yeah. But it looks like, a troll could live in these areas too. You look at this dramatic landscape and it's not hard to believe that indeed they lived in those rural areas and they occupied these mountains. These were their homes, right? And some of them, these Norwegian folktales and Norse mythology really supported that notion that they were living, breathing trolls amongst the humans, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? 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 Who's this chap? Oh. Wow.
We are very much more than folk tales and mythology. We tend to hide now a little bit in the mountains and in the woods, but we're here.
Well, join us and tell us more. Can I give you a hand here as you take a seat?
Oh, thank you.
Took it a little bit back there. Oh, there you go. Welcome. Well, thanks for joining us this evening. Folks, this is Edgar. Edgar is joining us this afternoon or this evening. And we'd love to just hear your perspective. I mean, yes, you're a scholar and a historian, Lotta, but maybe hearing from a real troll would be helpful for our audience.
Well, trolls, we have been around forever, and we used to be more evolved and more terrifying to people in the old days, and but time goes on and things evolve, and now we've gone into storybooks and now through the sculptures of Thomas Dambo, we're seen and people know a lot more about us. But we have been around a long time, and we live very long lives.
Could I ask actually how old you are? Is that inappropriate?
Well, it's hard for trolls to understand time like humans do. We live for centuries, so I can talk about the olden days when there weren't so many humans, and there were miles and hundreds of thousands of acres of woods and mountains and maybe very small villages. So if you can picture that far back, that would be a time when I was young.
Well, there's another youthful troll who occupies a space outside of the Nordic Museum here, Frankie. It's a young troll. Are you related to Frankie?
Well, Frankie and myself and the troll, the Bird King troll on Vashon Island are all from the same area, and we all knew each other back in the old country, and well, Oscar left first, and he went on quite a journey from being a younger troll to where he is today. And but I knew that where he had gone and where he was going, so I followed him after 100 years or so, and caught up with him, and he was my teacher for a time. And then Frankie, again, you might even say that Oscar and I are brothers from a different mother.
Brothers from another mother, is that?
Yeah, that's the one. And trolls are raised sort of like in a commune. Everybody sort of, throws a piece of meat down, and the little trolls scramble to grab and get it, that's how we're raised. So it's hard to say who's the mother, in that situation. And Frankie, he followed later. He's pretty angry about the way humans are treating the earth, and where Oscar's more philosophical and more, trying to tell us to save what's here. Frankie gets really angry about the whole situation and impatient. And we between Oscar and I, we try to keep him settled down a little bit about it.
Well, and it appears that maybe Frankie was not used to the urban environment, right? Because you trolls live mainly in the woods and forests.
This is true. Frankie, he I think made a decision to be out where humans could see him, and to show that, get his message out there to stop what we're doing, and he is pretty angry. He stomps on things, and you can just tell by the way he holds his hands. He's like, oh.
We know no children were harmed in the creation of that troll. Maybe a bench or two. I'm also curious, Edgar, you have this beautiful ornately designed crown, and it has lovely flowers and also some birds. Maybe, what's the connection with trolls and birds?
Well, Oscar, he has a crown of bird houses, and it really shows that he is for the protection of the nature and smaller creatures. And then I'm kind of more into more about the forest creatures like the deer and the bear and the larger forest, and I kind of consider myself the forest king, where he's the bird king and I'm the forest king.
I see your distinction there. You have to claim your own different kind of territory.
Yes. You don't want to get trolls fighting over a territory. It's not pretty.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm going to kind of, please don't feel I'm ignoring you now, but I'd love to bring Lotta back into the chat. And maybe with your scholastic hat on and your vast knowledge, Lotta, maybe you could talk a little bit about how trolls are depicted in contemporary culture through literature and film, and many artists have really embodied this notion of representing trolls, whether it's through the written word or through visual representations. And I know you're well read in this subject, so could you give us a couple of your favorites?
Yes, I may have to step back a little bit. In the mid-1800s, there was a wave of nationalism that swept over. Swept over Europe, and that caused many folklorists to go back into the backcountry and start recording and listening to what the people were saying. Particularly famous is the Norwegian folk tales. I think you might have a slide on that.
I think I have that one up.
Yeah, that's one. Oh, great. So Asbjørnsen and Moe went in the backcountry, and they recorded the stories, and they published them, and they became so popular that this book has never been out of print. It was also in 10 years, it was in 1859, it was translated to English, and the English version has never been out of print either. But you know, this was a time nobody had really seen a troll. Nobody said, you said, I haven't seen a troll, my brother has, and so on. But they were looking for somebody to illustrate them.
Well, may I just say, just a second, may I just say that, you know, in spoken history and in folk tales, there's always some truth behind that. And I just want to let you know that, well, those tales told from long ago, well, they're not all just tales, you know.
They're based on some reality or fact.
Yeah,
Exactly.
But you know, there was one particular illustrator that Asbjørnsen and Moe hired, and his name is Theodor Kittelsen. And he made one of the very famous trolls, the forest trolls. And we can really see there how the trolls are emerging out of nature. So you may see him as somebody sees in the morning when the sun is shining and kind of glittering in his eyes, and he wakes up. And he has actually kind of had a follower also. Some of you may recognize him under the Aurora Bridge. There is a troll. There he is. And you can clearly see that he's modeled after the Kittelsen troll. But this is the latecomer. It was actually the Fremont Culture Council that had an exhibition or competition, because under the bridge there was lots of drug dealings and beer and homeless people, and they wanted to kind of upgrade it a little bit. So they put out a competition who could create the best sculpture or the best environment out there.
There's nothing like a troll to scare off the undesirables.
Anyway, there he is, and he has many, many followers. But he has it was actually 4 artists who worked on him. Yeah.
And I think there's a time capsule, right, under his hand there?
Yes, under his hand, they drew on another folktale, Norwegian folktale, the 3 billy goat gruff. Because the Fremont troll has a Volkswagen in his hand that he has picked off the bridge. It was originally orange, but now it looks kind of beige. But instead, so he has a different taste. He didn't like goats, he liked cars instead. I think he did a pretty good job, because you hardly see any of these bugs any longer, you know, the VW bugs any longer on the Fremont Bridge.
I think there's also a lot that has happened in the film world as well, right? So there's mockumentaries and fictional depictions of trolls. I think if we have a few references. Oh, this
is another troll that is very, very important to Swedes, John Bauer. And you can see that this is the nature, the forest that I grew up in. You know, it's so similar. He is very beloved by all Swedes, and he illustrated a lot of stories. He didn't write them himself. But to move forward.
Yes, thank you.
To move forward,
we're going to talk
during the entire. No, this is another troll story. They were big and clumsy, and they were not as scary as the Kittelsen troll.
Don't take offense, Edgar, please.
They were pretty easy to cheat.
Well, I'm big. I don't know about clumsy.
But anyway, there was always some kind of brave young man that cheated them because they had the bad habit of kidnapping princesses. Not to eat them, but to marry them, and that's not good either.
Have you ever seen a troll woman? I mean, you might want a princess, you know.
There are a few, yes.
So anyway, the young boy kind of hears the troll mother asking the princess, "Who do you want to marry of my beautiful 3 sons?" And at that time, the young boy up in the little window at the top, he reads a magic word and all the trolls disappear. And he takes the princess back to the castle, and they marry and they live happily ever after.
Well, let's try and see if we come up to contemporary
Yes.
times, and
Let's
now a little moving forward in time, where there's some films that have come out that
Yes.
are notable.
During the entire 19th century, essentially, the trolls were relegated to children's books. And they became less and less dangerous and cuter, but they got disconnected from nature. But then comes the 20th century, and now the troll comes back in the literature for adults, in films, in movies, in art, and in sculptures, and in literature.
We're getting so famous. It's so good to be back.
So here, for example, we have, if you click one more, we might get to, this is a movie called Border. It's available, it's excellent. I'm not going to talk about that. We can talk about other ones if you click up on forward. Oops.
I think that's the,
Okay, then I'm going to talk about one of the important movies is The Trollhunters, Trolljägarna, is Norwegian, and it is about it's a fake documentary, a mockumentary. It's a secret government agency that is trying to capture trolls and kills them because the Norwegian government does not want people to believe that trolls are real. And it's filmed with a handheld camera, which makes it both very funny and a little bit scary. I'm not going to tell how it ends. This is available on Netflix if you're interested.
So Edgar, have you received any outreach from the Hollywood studio world or Netflix to do a story about you?
Well, that would be nice, but I've kind of kept myself, to the forested areas near the cities and the green belts and such. And this is really my coming out party. So maybe I'll get contacted after tonight. That would be good. I could be.
Is anybody in the audience ready to make a series? You'd be willing to talk to them?
Oh yeah, I think so. I kind of would like to get the message out about the planet and how important it is to take care of it, and maybe it'll give me a voice.
Yeah, you have a lot to say.
Oh yeah.
Well, one of the artists that we're familiar with here is Thomas Dambo, friend of yours, Edgar, too, I gather. I've heard you say, Lotta, that in some respects you consider Thomas to be at the same level of artistic output as Hans Christian Andersen, a well-known Danish author and artist. Why is it that where did the parallels that you see between the two?
The parallels between the two is really kind of interesting. They were both born in Odense on the island of Fyn in Denmark. And they both came from very modest backgrounds, and they all grew up, and through their art, they became world famous. And reaching out to an audience, not particularly, but to a broader audience of all ages, everybody. Everybody just loves their stories or their art. They might be, if you remember a book some decades ago by Malcolm Gladwell called Outliers, Yes, you can say that these are outliers because they came from nothing and created through their art something that spoke to people in their own language, spoke to their hearts. So, but actually the parallels do not just stop there. They both are. They have a very simple art. It's not fancy. It's not sophisticated. It's very simple to absorb and to speak. Does speak to your heart. So, for example, Thomas Dambo creates his trolls out of scrap wood. He picks up from garbage dumps or dismantled wood pallets. And Hans Christian Andersen creates his magic, his poetry, with simple words. Just simple words that are very comfortable to read and to listen to. As an example, I might give you the introduction to The Little Mermaid. So listen to this. Far out at sea, the water is blue as the petals of the loveliest cornflower, and it is clear as the purest glass, but it is very deep. That is the poetic beginning. Not a fancy word, just speaks right, comfortable words that we can relate to and take to our hearts.
You've touched mine. Right here. No, where's my heart? I don't know. But you've touched my heart with that. And did he write about trolls, this Andersen guy?
He didn't. Mr. Andersen didn't.
Oh, no, well.
But Thomas does use poetry, in creating his artworks. He always tends to create a poem that also depicts the character. Thomas had being a sculptor, he was also a rap artist, I guess, and did a lot of music and rapping. So I guess he's integrated that into his work as well. I'm going to ask you, Edgar, if you would, how do you think us humans are learning from you and your ancestors, and are we paying attention to your message of protecting the environment?
I think many humans are, and many are trying to do something to make this world a better place and protecting nature. But on the other hand, it's very difficult for humans because they don't live in the woods and they don't live amongst the animals. And it's very hard for an individual to say, well, how can I reduce my effect on the world? But it is an individual thing. If humans, each one said, well, I could buy less plastic things, or I could buy my meat rather than a plastic, but buy it fresh and wrapped in paper, or something that's, what do they say? It's biodegradable. I don't even know what that means, but yeah, I think a lot of humans are, but it is a constant battle, to think about what you yourself can do.
So we all have to take that personal responsibility. I think we've one great photo when you were out visiting Oscar on Vashon.
He is big, isn't he?
He's
I don't know
a lot larger than you, for sure.
who his parents were, but boy, they had good genes, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I was born from a couple of troll midgets or something. I mean, little people. I think that's not an appropriate thing. But anyway,
You might still have you mightn't have reached your full height yet.
I hope not. I hope not. And I'm young yet. I got another few centuries before I'm up with him.
You noticed, Lotta, when you saw this photo, it reminded you of some other famous piece of artwork.
Yes, of course. It's kind of the Michelangelo touch, meeting fingers. That's when God created man. So I guess Oscar creates the troll, Edgar the troll. And they're also a meeting of the minds.
Lotta, here, reach out and touch my feet. Oh, there we go. Oh.
Yay!
Well, I don't want to monopolize the conversation too much because I'm sure there are great questions from the audience. So how about we turn to the audience and see what burning questions you might have. And maybe, yeah, Carlson is here with a microphone, and we'll see if we can have a conversation with members here.
Oh, yeah, hi.
Yeah, I can repeat it if people at the back can't hear.
Okay, yeah. Do the trolls vary at all between different countries, like Norway and Sweden, or they have different characteristics?
Absolutely, they do. The trolls vary between different countries. The Norwegian trolls from the in Asbjørnsen's books were scary, and people were afraid of them. The John Bauer trolls, the Swedish trolls from the 1900s, they were clumsy and lovable and easy to cheat. And then, of course, we have the Moomin trolls from Finland. Trolls, they are not real trolls. They don't live in forests or in mountains. They were actually born after the Second World War by the artist and author Tove Jansson, she was so tired and depressed by the war that she wanted to create a comfortable, happy society where people took care of each other and loved each other. And of course, there was always something bad, a danger from the sides, a comet, a flood or something. But in the end, they always had a party and had a good time. But they look more like kind of a little hippopotamus rather than a forest troll. So they're different, yes.
Somebody at the back, yeah. A microphone is making its way to you.
While in Denmark, I had heard that the Danes don't have trolls.
They actually have had troll, Bornholm, Krollebulle, but Denmark doesn't have big mountains and big forests. So Thomas Dambo created the Norwegian trolls, and he has been so successful. And his trolls have a very strong message about, the importance of environmental stewardship and of warning against overconsumption, that we must take care of our planet more. We have to stop polluting and throwing trash around. We have to take care of our environment, of the planet we live on. That's a very important message that Thomas Dambo conveys, and he conveys it in his trolls. And I think
he got that from us, We are the ones that are saying, you have to be on, but he's spreading our message. I really appreciate that.
Good. You give him a thumbs up for his message of waste no more.
Oh, my thumbs don't move very much. I'll give him a finger up.
Okay. Good. We had another question somewhere in the back here, on the other side, no?
I have one.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All the troll pictures and things that I've seen are all of male trolls. Are there female trolls?
Are you referring specifically to the body of work by Thomas Dambo in those trolls?
No, in general.
Oh, in general.
Actually, there are female trolls also. The first troll that we have mentioned in literature is from the 800s in Iceland. And she was a mean one. and she was a mean one. But so actually, the first time a troll is mentioned in literature is in the Icelandic sagas, 800. Written down 1200. And still today, the Icelandic, she stays on Iceland, and she particularly steps out during Christmas time, and she has 11 or 12 sons that they call Julasvenner, and they go out and create all kinds of mischief for people around Christmas. So yes, there are female trolls also.
I also think in the troll universe...
If you think male trolls are mean and awful, Boy, I tell you, us guys get beat up a lot by those female trolls. They're tough as nails, and they don't get away with nothing.
But I also wonder, Edgar, I noticed when you joined us, you have a lovely rainbow-colored vest that you're wearing, and I'm wondering if you could maybe share a little bit about why that's important to you.
Well, trolls do have a very connection with the LGBTQ plus community, and we run the same, what's that word, percentage, I think. Anyway, and I myself, find myself attracted to the more masculine of our species, and so if you're going to say there's a gay troll out there, well, hell. and I know Frankie. He's I believe non-binary.
I believe
he's part of the queer community as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's a message of inclusivity, and everybody is welcome.
Yeah. Yes.
I might want to mention Brun Idun also. She's a girl troll, and she's actually the connection to the Salish culture here, which is important. Because when Thomas first came, we were kind of concerned that what will the native population think about, the First Nation people think about if we bring trolls, Nordic trolls, into the nature. So Scandesign connected Thomas with Coyote, chieftain in the Muckleshoot tribe, and he went to Denmark and stayed there. And afterwards, when he came back, I asked Coyote, "So, what do you think? Are the Danes and the Muckleshoot tribe, the Indians, are they similar?" And this is what he said. The Danes take care of the young, and they take care of the old people, and they eat fish. We are brothers. But actually, Brunidun has a flute, and she's playing the flute to call the orcas, because when Thomas was here, he learned that the orca population is endangered. So he created Brunidun to play the flute and call back the orcas to the Puget Sound.
Another nice element of that I'll share is when Coyote was doing this artist exchange and educating Thomas about the Coast Salish culture, he also heard that Thomas had been a graffiti artist in his former life. And so one night while after the meal, Coyote worked in tandem, kind of surreptitiously, with two of Thomas's craftsmen, and they painted a large orca whale on the side of Thomas's wood shop. And so when Thomas came out in the morning, he was tagged by this gorgeous orca. And I've had a chance to see, some of us have visited Rancho Dambo, which is Thomas's workshop outside of Roskilde. And it's just really touching to see that Coast Salish connection to the work that we were doing together. Yeah, it's lovely. Okay, let's see. We've a couple of other questions we can ask. Maybe one more up here at the top.
I'd like to say, too, that the native people here have been stewards of this land for time immemorial, and they really do steward the land. They don't, I believe they feel that it's not owned by people, but it's protected by the people. And I think that they have a very clear idea of how to protect nature and respect nature and the planet.
Thank you.
Hi. So I was going to ask, I'm thinking specifically about Sweden, but overall, I guess, the Nordic countries, how trolls within the historical kind of setting fit in with other mythological creatures, such as Huldra or the Naken. So kind of where trolls fit into that mythological landscape of all the different magical creatures within the forest spirits.
The trolls are very dominant. but there are very many other nature creatures in Nordic mythology. They have the tomtes, nisses in Norwegian, who lives in the farms and take care of the animals there. They have nekken, who lives in rivers and under waterfalls. And they have a woman, the sjötroll, sea troll, who lives by the lakes, and she may lure you into the lake and so you drown. so the nature is very much alive in the Nordic countries. But the trolls are kind of dominant.
We have one more question, and this one, gentleman afterwards. So we'll do Christina here first, and then.
Just from an artistic perspective, looking at the trolls are so lovable and relatable. And you've probably spent a lot of time thinking about what is it that makes them so, instantly relatable. I don't know.
Thomas Dambo's trolls really are very relatable, and he models the position of the body before. And if you look at them, legs, hips, perfect, everything is perfect. They're perfectly kinetically constructed. And another thing too, if you walk from behind, they have really cute butts. They make them very round. And another thing that makes them very relatable.
Sorry, Edgar has a comment about it.
Can you repeat that? What are we at? What?
Another thing is their eyes. If you look at a troll and you walk from side to side, the eyes follow you. And that is also a thing that with the Dambo trolls, yes. Yeah, they are very relatable. We understand that, yeah. One more.
So I'm curious, through history, do trolls share a common language?
Ooh, do trolls share a common language?
Yeah, how do you communicate across the generations, Edgar, and across the countries?
Well, we do share a language of grunts and hand motions and whacks and things like that. And maybe it's not a spoken language, but it's a language. Maybe you would call it almost a sign language or a non-verbal language. But we can get our point across, if we want to, with a troll from another country or such. We didn't have a Tower of Babel, but we have a hill of grunts, I guess.
Yes, one more question.
Just a comment. After we became acquainted with Frankie, Feetsplinters here, I was in the cafe watching this family, young family, several young children with their parents, and they were absolutely so thrilled. I had to go out and just tell them, I was going to tell them how lovely they were to Frankie. And I hear this one little girl saying, "Oh, mommy, mommy, you have to come and see. He has the prettiest bum." A reputation like this is easy to get caught up on, But, I wouldn't get too caught up on that. I mean, I don't know.
There might have to be a review. We do have a chance. Edgar, how do you feel about your likeness being captured with these newfangled devices?
Oh, well, I've always kind of considered myself a good-looking troll. No, I don't mind. I think I don't understand it, and I don't understand how it works. It's like magic, but I'm okay. I'm okay with getting my picture taken. I'm kind of like,
so you'd be ready for your close-up?
Maybe some princess will take a fancy to me.
Or prince. Well, so if you'd indulge a few people, maybe we could have an orderly line. If you want to have your photograph with Edgar, he can sit in his throne or sit in the cave and take a moment with our audience tonight.
I think what I'll do is if everyone doesn't mind, just a few minutes, I'll come out and I'll stand in front of the cave so I can actually put my arm around you and interact with you a little bit more. So after we're finished here, just give me a few minutes to get organized and get out there.
Okay, well, we'll help escort you. Or,
Time for a reveal? I don't think so yet, no? Oh? No?
no, I think we're just going to, is your aide de camp here, or can we help you move back into the cave?
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Okay. Well, he's heading there. That kind of concludes our program for this evening, but I just want to ask you to join me in thanking Lotta for sharing so much of her knowledge. And I think we're going to take a moment here and also introduce you to somebody who is doing a lot of work here for a moment. So please give a great round of applause to Matt Burskin from Vashon, who came all the way over in his fabulous uniform. And Matt, you made this costume yourself, right?
Yes. I originally made it 4 years ago, maybe, as a Halloween costume, but it was right after Oscar was built, and so it was quite a smash on the island. And I hope he continues to be a character and a personality on the island for a long time.
Nice, that's wonderful.
That's great. Wonderful. Well, programs like these only happen because there's a great team of wonderful folks to help make it happen. So I want to just thank again Leith and Carlson and Marnie, Charlie, Stephanie, who else was involved in creating this wonderful evening. Really tremendous group effort, very collaborative when we came up, well, Matt came up with the idea of the cave. I'd also like to thank the Frankie Feetsplinter is one of 6 trolls of the Northwest Trolls Way of the Bird King project, and there were many, many people here at the museum who helped make it happen. So I just want to acknowledge some of the key supporters who provided financial resources, including Sarah Sand-Eller, Laurie C. Black, the Scandesign Foundation and the Allen Family Philanthropies were part of the sponsors early on. And then we had several sponsors, including Lotta, who was not just offering financial support, but she was the best cheerleader for this project to get kicked off the ground for many years. Yes. And then other board members stepped up, including Lisa Toftemark, who's here this evening. Thank you, Lisa. And Earl and Denise Eklund, David and Robin Nelson were a core part of the team that made Frankie possible. We have several folks also from different communities here who have trolls in their community, so hang out, chat with each other, learn more about what's happening here in the Pacific Northwest.